Hey everyone, Pugs here with two new reviews for y'all. Today, I'm starting off Season 7 of SpongeBob SquarePants by covering Tentacle-Vision and I Heart Dancing. I can't believe we're already at Season 7. Another very infamous season for me to take a deep dive into. I can't wait! Also, fun fact, 7 is my favorite number, so I guess that makes this season double exciting. As always, thank you all for watching today. I feel that especially strongly at the beginnings of new seasons like this, since it almost feels like this is a new journey being undertaken. Now, let's just get right into it. Our very first episode of Season 7 is Tentacle-Vision, and I think that this is a good intro to this season. Good as in it's a good episode. Yeah, no suspense this time around, I'm just telling you that I like this one. It took me a very long time to realize that the title for this one is supposed to be a play on the word television. To be fair, I think they kind of fumbled the bag on that one because tentacle has too many syllables in it for the pun to work. Or at least that's my defense of coming to this realization very late. Okay, y'all know me. I just adore when episodes begin with gorgeous backgrounds like Tentacle-Vision does. Now, yes, this night background is not the most beautiful background this show has to offer, but I still just find these night backgrounds to be very appealing and soothing in their blueness, I guess. Blues and purples. And kind of related, the beginning of this episode is very calming and inviting as Squidward prepares to watch his very early morning television. Clearly, chaos must be soon to follow. Squidward claiming that all of the most intelligent programming starts before 5 a.m. is a great thing of irony because nothing good happens between midnight and 5 a.m. What do you think happens then? It's just infomercials. Anyway, I like this beginning setup portion of the episode. Squidward expects to see his usual fab and fancy programming, just to learn that it has been cancelled and has been replaced by some guitar player without a guitar. I liked the joke with Squidward trying to spit out his coffee and failing because he hadn't made it yet, and then how he spits it out properly the second time. The idea of this episode is pretty interesting too. Squidward making his own TV show? That's great. I think that it's kind of funny how both of the season openers for seasons 6 and 7 involve Squidward being on TV. I just think that this is very in line with his character given his constant talking about, quote unquote culture and whatnot. And this episode doesn't disappoint in that regard. His call to Zeus is pretty funny to me, and Squidward's enthusiasm and bragging is pretty entertaining to watch as well. I honestly think a Squidward show would be very fun to watch. And no, I don't mean a Squidward spin-off, although that certainly has potential depending on how it's done, but I mean like a show like the one here, in-universe, would be quite fun. That would be a really cool idea for the SpongeBob YouTube channel, actually. So, one thing about the way I approach my reviews is that I at least attempt not to let previous or future episodes sway my feelings when I'm watching an episode for the purposes of reviewing it. Sure, they can influence me once I review the episode, but I try to watch episodes with something of a blank slate. The reason I'm telling y'all this is because even with this philosophy of mine, I couldn't help but feel trepidation when Patrick shows up here. SpongeBob was good so far, but honestly, Patrick has been the weakest character for me during these last couple seasons because he's been having some rather poor showings. I was pleasantly surprised to see, though, that he was actually pretty good here. Yeah, the joke of him not seeing himself on TV was a little long and predictable, but it didn't bore me, and I found it to at least be amusing. Especially once Patrick gets more of a chance to bounce off of other characters when Squidward asks him how stupid he is. And the part where he puts his mouth in front of the camera is hilarious. Y'all already know that I love how this episode slowly devolves more and more into chaos. It starts with SpongeBob and Patrick here becoming behind-the-scenes workers for Squidward, since the guy can't get rid of them. The way the best friend duo suck at their jobs is pretty funny. Squidward tying Patrick to the camera was really great too, and then the rate of chaos starts to pick up as Mr. Krabs inserts himself into the show with a live ad, followed by Sandy, which thank God she's in this episode, y'all know I've been getting real tired of her exclusion. And if the inclusion of Sandy wasn't enough to make me happy, we then get Pearl in this episode, which is a real lovely surprise to me because she is so rarely included in episodes that aren't about her and Mr. Krabs or her and SpongeBob. In a way, the remainder of this episode feels a lot like one of my favorite episodes of this show, Culture Shock. Just seeing everyone come together to try and show off whatever they can in front of the camera, I just get that feeling. And then lastly, Plankton gets in on it, and his death ray adds to the hectic nature of it all, and I love it. I suppose the only complaint I have here is that this could have been far more animated and expressive than it is, because as it is, it feels a little bit stilted and stiff, but I'm okay with it as it is too, so it's not a big complaint. Seems like Tentacle-Vision isn't ready to give up on the pandemonium yet, though, because we get the surprise appearance of Larry the Lobster, who then brings a crap ton of people over to Squidward's place for a house party. The TV executive guy coming in is hilarious to me when you remember that Squidward's show is supposed to be on public access television. The way he just kicks out all of these random people, including Squidward, is pretty funny. I'm curious as to what Squidward's house party is even supposed to be about if it's lasting 20 weeks. Well, whatever it is, I like the ending to this episode. I think it's very amusing. Tentacle-Vision is simply a very enjoyable episode. It has plenty of funny moments, and even when it's not particularly funny, it's very entertaining. I'm never bored by this episode at all, not even close, and that's all I ask for. Well, I also ask that I don't dislike what I'm watching, but I mean, this episode doesn't even begin to approach that, so I don't even need to bring that up. That is why this episode is being placed in my amazing tier, where it comes in with a score of 9.2 out of 10. A really strong start to Season 7, that's for sure. If only it could stay this way forever. I Heart Dancing is simply a silly episode, and I love it for that. I really just like the vibes of this episode. The plot is very simple. Dancing. Like, that's basically it. The title of the episode does not lie one bit. I'm trying to figure out what else I can say for this introductory portion of the review, but there really isn't much. This is a very, very simple episode, which is perfectly fine, of course, but I don't have much to say here as a consequence of that. This episode begins with Squidward trying to sneak out on his walk to work, where he's intercepted by SpongeBob, who has randomly become dance-obsessed that day. And honestly, I get him, I feel that way sometimes too. If you really think about it, this episode is just about SpongeBob stimming. Okay, but seriously, we spend the first couple of minutes of this episode watching SpongeBob dance on the walk to the Krusty Krab, and then at the Krusty Krab, and it's all very enjoyable. All the animations of SpongeBob dancing in this episode are really nice. It's kind of funny that SpongeBob dances while walking to work because I low-key do the same thing. It's just movement medicine. Or stimming. Or both. Anyway, this scene also includes the famous "Who Put You on the Planet" dance, which is amazing and hilarious. The plot thickens a little bit when SpongeBob earns himself a dance audition with all of his funky moves at the Krusty Krab. Squidward is, of course, jealous about this, and so he decides to be delightfully devious in this episode, scheming to get SpongeBob to be so exhausted so that he can take his place in the audition. His maliciousness makes all of the universal justice put onto him in the end so very cathartic, but I'm getting ahead of myself here. Squidward offers to quote-unquote train SpongeBob in dancing. SpongeBob and Squidward's little dance outfits are so fun here, and I love how SpongeBob continually foils Squidward's plans to exhaust him. They're all pretty funny. The bit with the ribbons also reminded me a lot of The Paper for whatever reason, and actually, now that I'm thinking about it, this episode is a lot like Artist Unknown in SpongeBob being much better than Squidward in this activity because he actually brings joy into it. And hey, that's a plot that doesn't fail for me. Eventually, Squidward's plan does work, which is surprising, and he manages to get SpongeBob exhausted by making him conform to a very strict dance routine, and I think that this makes sense and is thematically fitting. SpongeBob was able to freeform everything else, so it makes sense that he couldn't stick the landing on a very rigid set of moves. Roger Bumpus's delivery here just makes Squidward sound like such an asshole, and I love it, because his comeuppance is going to be so damn good. Squidward's an ass here, but it's done in such an entertaining way. Unlike some episodes where the asshole in question is a certain pink starfish, but that's neither here nor there. And then comes the last couple of minutes of I Heart Dancing, which are spent on the audition. Squidward's dance is so horribly bad that I have to laugh. It's like Culture Shock, except he has even less talent. The episode surprises me, though, by having the judge actually be impressed by Squidward's routine. This makes it all the more sweet when the other shoe drops, and we, along with Squidward, find out that Squidward will be dancing in, surprise, Squilliam's show. And then we get the glorious ending of this episode where Squilliam ends up doing the exact same "Who Put You on the Planet" dance as SpongeBob. And I love how SpongeBob and Patrick are just in the audience for absolutely no reason. Just amazing. I Heart Dancing is a great and hilarious episode that I have nothing bad to say about at all. I love when that happens. This episode is satisfying, funny, enjoyable, and just fun. And that's why I'm placing it in my amazing tier, where it comes in with a score of 9.3 out of 10. As always, I'll be ending this video with some closing thoughts of mine. Honestly, Season 7 is off to a very strong start. I mean, 2 amazing tier episodes in a row? That's great. Pretty uncharacteristic for a supposedly awful season, right? Well, I think we all know that this won't last forever. I wish it would, but I already know that Season 7 is not my favorite season of this show. It might be starting off really well, but it has quite a few, treats for us to uncover, including 2 of the most infamous episodes in the show, another episode I dislike immensely, and my most hated episode of this show. And the last of these is coming for us very, very quickly. How, exciting. Well, it actually is somewhat exciting because I will most certainly be tearing that episode a new asshole, but yeah. And I think that's just about all I've got for y'all today. So I'll go ahead and close things out here, and I'll see you all in the next review.